Help us keep it going. Every listen, like, and subscription to The Unfolding presented by the Loveland Foundation helps us do more than just share powerful stories. It helps fund real therapy sessions for Black women and girls across the country. When you subscribe, you're not just supporting a podcast, you're helping us show funders that this work matters, that this community is growing, and our mental health support deserves real investment. So if you've been moved by what you've heard, take a second, like, subscribe, and share. It is a small gesture that can make a generational impact. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Unfolding, presented by the Loveland Foundation. I'm your host, Rachel Keener, and today we're talking about one of the things that is on everyone's mind, but for some reason we never seem to want to talk about it. We'll talk about grief, trauma, sex, relationships, but never money. And I feel like for Black Philanthropy Month and just like living in today's time, money is on our minds. And I thought, who better to bring on the show than the wonderful Asia Evans? She is a licensed mental health counselor and financial therapist who spent over a decade section of money and mental health. She's the author of Feel Good Finance, which please read. It is so good. We're going to get all into it. But it's wondering how you bring the emotion behind money and the mental behind money and spending and like why we do the things we do with our money and the things attached to how we feel about our money and our self-worth and our money scripts and our money narratives. So welcome, Asia. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Rachel. I'm so excited. I can't wait to dive in. I could just talk about this all day.
No, and we will. But I'm really happy to have you here. Asia has been a friend of the foundation for a few years now. We had her on our Mindful Money panel. Shameless plug, it's on YouTube if you haven't watched it. And I immediately fell in love with Asia. And the way she just talks about money in such a relatable, accessible way really makes you just feel seen with what you're going through with me personally and how I deal with my finances and being oh, I'm an adult now. I got to start thinking about money and the impact of money and understand there's a whole behind money, whether it be the history of America or the history of our own personal childhoods and how our understanding of money's come to be. And I never understood that there was also an emotional psychology behind money. And so Feel Good Finance, it's in the title of Feel Good Finance. So how did you even get to that? What does feeling good even mean in finance? And how did you get to this journey of talking about finance in your own work?
Yeah, it's quite a journey. I'll tell you that. Let's start there. So I'll talk about kind of my journey, what brought me here, and then a little bit about Feel Good Finance. So honestly, a lot of this was born out of my own need. And I share this story often, but I was a 20-something living in New York City, making more money than I had ever made before, and wondering why I was still broke, wondering where all my money was going. And honestly, I was living my life. I thought because I was making honestly, at that time, it was $65,000. Now, I know that is a lot of money. That's a lot of money to people. But back in the day, living in New York City, 65 was not enough for the way I was spending my money. I could live there, but the way I was spending it, I was truly making it rain, and I didn't understand. And that brought me on my financial education journey about learning about debt, learning about money, learning about finance in general. And then I started thinking to myself, God, I cannot be the only person who is stressed about money or thinking about money in this way. Who's talking about this? Who do I talk to? And I was literally a therapist at that time. And I was like, oh, it's me. I can be that person. I can talk about this. So that led me to doing more training programs, just getting really involved with the Financial Therapy Association. Shameless plug, they also have a directory if you are looking for a financial therapist. So that kind of was my journey. And then as I was talking more about it with my clients and just, more speaking louder about it, speaking prouder about it, honestly, I was like, I have something more to say. I have deeper things to say. And that was when Feel Good Finance was born. And what I realized is that I just didn't want people's histories, their financial psychology, their psychology in general, their feelings, behaviors to be a barrier anymore in them being able to grow their wealth. While we live in this society under these circumstances, money is power right now. And maybe that will change, but in current day, right now, money is power. And I wanted to help people to be able to remove some of these barriers, not say that they're gone, but that you can live with them and still create wealth, still create generational wealth and pass it down and be abundant and share it with other people. So really Feel Good Finance was about helping people feel better about their money so that they could live more fruitfully in abundance on a regular basis.
That is you're just speaking to my heart right now because I have that same feeling where like, oh, I'm making money now. I could just spend, 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 and like not even like looking at my account once and like looking at my statements. I'm just like, I got it. It's somewhere. I'm trying to go on this trip. I'm trying to go out to brunch. I'm trying to like have fun and like this. I was reading your book and I felt extremely seen, a little bit called out, but like with this idea of the money narratives and money stories we tell ourselves, like how we show up in different categories. And you talked about money avoidance and like how that's a way of like coping is by like not even facing like what's like looking at your account. And so seeing that in like real time, like, oh, that sounds awfully familiar. I feel very much like I was just like, oh, like out of sight, out of mind. Like, it's not there. Like I don't have to worry about it until you are faced to worry about it. You are faced to direct it. And like it just was like, well, now I have to do something about it. So how did this like idea of like the stories we tell ourselves about how we deal with money, how does that impact how we work with our money? Like how does that cycle start?
Yeah, and what I will say is that I'm glad that you felt a little dragged. Some of my clients have said
I was
that
like,
to
ooh,
me too.
please.
Go easy. No, my clients have said that to me. They're like, listen, Asia, I feel dragged and validated at the same time. And that is very much so my style because I am going to drag you. I'm like, what are you doing? This isn't a part of your goals. This isn't what you want. I know you don't want to feel this way. I know you don't because you've told me and I believe you. But also, like, it's okay that you feel that way. And this is common. So I'm glad that that translated through the book and through the words. But what I would say is that sometimes we really have to take the time to understand our background, understand where these thoughts, these feelings came from. There's a world of information about it. And I could talk about it all day, but I'm going to try to synthesize as much as I can and say that all of our life experiences, all of the representation or lack of representation, or the modeling that you saw, all kind of culminate in how you then relate to money, how you treat money, what you do with money when you are an adult. And I say adulthood specifically because there has to be a level of maturity that comes with like, okay, I need to be taking care of myself in some way. Now, for some people, that is a lot younger than sometimes it needs to be. And for other people, it is later. So I'm just going to stick to adulthood and say that at that point, the level of maturity around like, it's not just oh, I need my friends to see me in this sneaker. I need my friends to see me in this shirt. It still exists there, but you also have other responsibilities where you have to be a little bit more tactful with your money. And I don't think people understand that sometimes we're still living and repeating narratives that one aren't even our own narratives. They might have been narratives from the people who taught us or that we were watching growing up, or two, don't apply to the way our life looks today. And that is so difficult to take those steps to start saying, why am I doing this? Like, does this even make sense? What are my patterns? How do I come out of this? Do I want to come out of this? Do I like the way I'm behaving with money? Is this a cycle? Just, asking those questions and really deep diving into your relationship with money is so important so that you can do the things that you want to do with your money, right? Because listen, I wanted to go to brunch. I wanted to go on those trips too. And I was broke. And I was like, this is not it. Like, this is not what I aspire to. Like, what do I need to do? And sometimes that means saying no to some of those things. Hopefully not all.
Yeah, and, like, to those things, like, the your self-worth being connected to money, and, like, money has so much shame tied to it, and I think part of that shame is because we don't talk about it, like, we kinda just suffer in silence or mask with, like, things or materialistic things, but at the end of the day, like, when I'm on this journey of, like, just trying to be the best version of myself, I'm on this journey of trying to be the healthiest version of myself, I'm trying to be on this journey of, like, where I know myself the most and I love myself through it. And like I realized that my relationship with money is a big part of that. And like how not that money itself is the big thing, but like how do I take care of myself? And like
Yeah.
part of taking care of myself is knowing that I am a safe place for myself to be. And like, it's like I have, I am like financially taking care of myself and not just like being so careless or with my money. And so sorry guys, I'm using this conversation as a session for myself and my own understanding of money and like how to do better with money. But yeah, like you talk about patterns and you also talk about like self-worth and like knowing how to like know that like how money plays a role with it. Like, can you speak more on like those patterns, like those stories we tell ourselves?
Yeah. So I love that you brought up kind of realizing that you taking care of your finances is a form of you taking care of yourself because it's so true. And when we start looking at those patterns and, how self-worth, and I'm going to go lean more towards like the materialistic, right? So if it's, oh, I can't wait to get this fit. I can't wait to see these pictures hit social. This is going to be amazing. I'm like, yeah, but are all your bills paid? Are you, and I'm calling people out, and I'm so sorry. I am going to drag you right now, but it's important. Are all your bills paid? Do you have an emergency fund? And when I say an emergency fund, it doesn't have to be fully funded, but do you have some money just in case something happens? It could be happening while you're busy throwing that fit, right? While you're busy out there living that life, do you have enough money to cover some yourself if something happened? And that's about security. That's about stability. That is not about me hating or not wanting you to enjoy your money. I do want you to enjoy it. Please. It's so important. Just as much as I say people need to learn how to save money, they also need to learn how to spend it sometimes. And I
Yes.
talk about that in the book as well. Like as money hoarders, I want you to enjoy your money, but I also don't want your financial habits to jeopardize your own safety and stability. And that's extremely important, especially as Black women, especially as women. Like we just need to make sure that we're financially okay and safe and stable. That's paramount to me. And I think a lot of times people are a little bit more concerned with their perception of who they are, who other people think that they are, and their self esteem is wrapped up in the wrong
Yeah.
things. And listen, this is me too, right? Like this was me too. I was spending all that money because I was trying to keep up with people who made more money than I did.
Yeah.
I was, right? It is me too. And sometimes it's still me. And I write about that in the book too. But what I want people to really derive their self esteem from is, oh, I'm a good person. I can take care of myself. I'm responsible. I show up for my village. I am a villager. I am reliable in whatever way that looks like. I might not be able to get you financially, like, right? Whatever I can do, but I am going to show up for you in some way, shape, or form. Like, those are the qualities that I want people to build their self esteem on, not the fact that they have the latest and greatest designer blazer. Like when that blazer comes off, like when that payment is due, when you're boohooing, feeling really bad about being behind on your bills because you bought said blazer, like who are the friends that you can call? Like that is the important stuff. Like that's the kind of, peeling the onion, the layers that I want people to get to versus kind of more the materialistic. And I think we're shifting away from it slowly, but whew, it's hard and people don't necessarily want to let it go.
Yeah, and like I'm speaking from experience, but there's a little bit of like self-sabotage that happens sometimes when I'm like deep in my financial journey. I'm like, oh, I hit a goal, let me go out and spend something, or let me like go out and treat someone to this, or like this like I love giving gifts. I'm a big gift giver, and like I had to like be like Rachel, we could give gifts in other ways, like we don't have to like go out and do these things. So like it's a changing relationship and like conversation I'm having with myself and other people. And it's very vulnerable. And you're just like, hey, like actually, guys, like I don't really have it like that right now to go out to do this thing. But you guys want to come over? We can have a movie night. We can do something like that. Like the shifts that you have to take. And like I realized like every time I talk to like a true friend or like like a family member, like they're always so understanding. And like this whole fear and shame that I have, like, oh, they're gonna look less at me for like, oh, like you have debt, or oh, you're like, why are you this way? Like all these things. Like it's just like I think it creates space for people to also know that they can share in that moment. And so a lot of talk about money is like, how do you have these conversations with other people, whether it be partners, friends, or family, when there is like a layer of like tabooness that comes with money? Like, how do you suggest like coming like to that when like personal relationships and money?
Yeah, well, first it's going to start with vulnerability. And let me tell you what, people hate being vulnerable.
Oh,
It is
some people.
uncomfortable. They're worried about everything that you just shared. Oh, they're going to see my shame. What will they think about me? Are they going to think less of me? Do I think less of me? And that is so isolating. And vulnerability is where we create intimate relationships, that depth of a friendship to know, oh, I can tell them my honest truth about what's going on with me, as well as they can come to me and share what's going on honestly for them. So vulnerability is hard, but I'm going to sit and hold your hand when I say you can do it, and please continue to do it, because the fruits of that vulnerability are only going to strengthen yourself, your self-esteem, as well as your friendships and relationships. And it really breaks up the isolation, the shame of feeling like I can't go out, I can't talk to anybody, I have no one, I'm alone in this, I'm the only person going through this. And that's why I was so real in how I share and talk about this consistently, because I want people to know that they're not the only ones. I too felt like I was the only one in some way, shape, or form. So I'm like, as much detail as I can give to people about what can happen when you start talking about money, when you are more vulnerable in your relationships and your connections, then if sometimes that means that I have to be the guinea pig and share about myself, then I'm like, let's do it, because I think that that really is going to provide us healing and connection and community.
Oh, took the words right out of my mouth because our whole theme is like healing community this year and like how we do it together and like bringing people along with us. Because like also money is like it's a tool and like sharing like our education, like our resources about money is like a way to like build that generational wealth, especially like in your book you mentioned like it's women were only able to open up credit cards in like the 1960s, which is literally maybe one generation of women so far. Like it's we're still learning, we're still trying to catch up after like so many injustices and like trying to like really have a healthy relationship to be able to pass it down to future generations. So this layer of just like having people to like learn together. And with that, I want to be able to share some like how like what's like on your like feel good like toolbox, like how people to be able to get to that, how to feel good about their finances, how like what would you suggest they have? Like what's some tools they could use?
Yeah. So first I would say, and this is the hardest one, it's the most painful, but I'm gonna still say it, is to look at your money. You need to
Mm,
know what's going in, you need to know what's coming out. It's going to feel a little bit difficult, especially if you're money avoidant. And you're avoiding kind of your statements in some way, shape, or form. But once you do, the power that you have over yourself and your future is almost like a relief and a breath of fresh air. And even though you may see, wow, those numbers used to feel so big and scary, but now I have a plan, which is the second one. Create a plan for how you want to fill in the blank, save more money, get an emergency fund, pay off some debt, go on that bomb ass trip with your friends, whatever it is. Creating that plan is going to help you feel a little bit more grounded instead of crashing out when you're like, I don't know what's going on with my money. I'm nervous. Am I stable? Am I secure? Nope. Let me go back to that plan because I did that when I was calm. And that's the third one. If you're stressed, if you are upset, if you, again, are in the middle of an anxiety attack or crashing out about your finances, that is not the time to create a plan. I need you to go do something that is going to help regulate your nervous system. If that's talk to a friend, go for a walk, exercise, literally go touch grass. What do you need to do? Take some deep breaths. Like, find out what helps you regulate your body, what helps you calm down, and then create a plan. Do not create a plan when you're in crisis, because a lot of times it will be more short sighted. And then the last one I'll say is to have those conversations. Ask your friends, hey, I'm learning about XYZ. Where are you getting this information from? What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? Who are you trusting for this kind of information? I want to start learning too, because I think that when we start learning, we feel, again, more empowered about what we can accomplish and what we do know. And if you don't know, that's okay. Go find somebody who does. Literally, go find them who does and get that information, and you will feel much better about doing all of those things that I just listed.
Beautiful. I'm about to clip that and just put that in like every video and like just start my mornings off. I when I was reading your book, you talked about having like these like money check-in dates with yourself. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that because as someone, as I mentioned, who is avoidant in that way, I just need to face it. And like I don't want to make it less scary when I face it. So like part of my morning routine has been just like have my tea, check my account just for the day. See, I listen. I listen. I pay attention to
You
what people
did it.
say.
Checking it every day from potentially not checking, that's a big deal.
Because I realize if I check it every day, I am more like so you know how like when you work out in the morning, you're like, okay, maybe I won't eat that like extra like piece of like ice donut or whatever. Like it's just a little bit in your mind. It's like, okay, here's where I'm at today. How do I make sure every choice I make? Because like for me, I know I'm such an emotional spender. I will spend based off if I'm happy. I'll spend if I'm sad. I'll spend if I'm angry. Like money is like that quick dopamine hit. Like especially like Apple Pay. Like I'm just gonna like tap that phone or
So
whatever. Even like Apple's paying for it. So no, just this that doing that check-in has really changed. Even like that small habit of just knowing is like you said, it gives so much power to it and so much like just like autonomy over like what I'm doing and knowing like where I stand with things. So just want to say thank you for that because that's already kind of changed my life. And I'm just excited to apply
Absolutely.
it.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad, and I love that you said, like, almost like working out, like, "Oh, if I did this one habit, like, what's the thing that's gonna keep me on track? I already know where I'm at." That's gonna help you kind of strengthen your resolve to make sure that you stay in a place that feels comfortable for you. Like, I love that. Yes, more.
Yeah. And like I know I mentioned I'm an emotional spender. Sorry, again, I'm using this as a personal session, guys. How do you deal with that? Like, 'cause there's so much emotion tied to spending like that. There's literally like a brain thing that happens with that dopamine hit of like spending something and like you're not even like aware of it sometimes. So like as a therapist, as a financial therapist, like how do you help like navigate like the emotional spending aspect of things?
Yeah, so I would say find things. It may not feel exactly the same. It may not be as big of a dopamine hit as you were getting before, but try to find things that are going to give you something, right? So that could be no cost ways that you get dopamine hit, right? Like no cost ways that elevate your mood, that make you feel better. So, yes, some of those coping strategies, touch grass, go for a walk, exercise, talk to a friend, all of those are really helpful. But it could be, to your point, scheduling a movie night at your house with your best friends. It could be, oh, I'm going to start a garden and I can't wait to eat my first tomato, right? Like, again, gardening can get really expensive. So you can be, got to be mindful there. But find different hobbies that you can do that also bring you joy. And at the very least, kind of cut the edge of wanting to go out and spend, especially if you're in not so great of a mood or you're just like emotionally spending, because it's not just a bad mood that we emotionally spend. Sometimes we're in a great mood and we're like, oh yeah, make it rain, let's do it. But what I would say are find the things that are going to help you shift your mood in whatever way that you're going to do that do not involve spending money. Some people, it could be journaling, could be making music, making things is a big thing. So it doesn't have to be make music, but it could be something creative, a creative outlet that you have that could be really helpful for people. So that does take time. You can start small, but work your way up to a place of like, oh, I know that I need this. So for me, one quick easy thing that I do when I know my mood is kind of tanking or I am just looking to go buy something, usually it's food. I am like emotional spender. I like love to get takeout.
Yeah.
um is taking a shower. For me, I'm like, nope, go take a shower. Let's change the mood, kind of change the energy, change the perspective. Go take a shower. I don't care if you took one an hour ago. Go, girl, it's go time to go do another one. Like
Can't be too
whatever you
clean.
got to do. Exactly. Exactly. Never too clean. Never.
I
So
just need to take a shower.
exactly. So what do you have to do, right? Like sometimes you might be angry about doing the right thing. And I share that too. Like you don't realize that sometimes being healthy and making that healthier choice for yourself, you might be pissed that you're making that
Yeah.
healthy choice. You better go rage clean. You better be angry cleaning those countertops, talking about I'm so mad I'm doing this instead of spending money when I want to. At least your kitchen's gonna be clean afterwards. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
No, that's so real because like there's a bit of sacrifice that comes with trying choosing your financial wellness and financial independence because it is fun to be able to do anything at a drop of a dime. It is fun to like spend when you just feel like it. It is like there's a money's fun. Money can be really fun if you want to, but it can also be really hurtful too and harmful if you're not intentional about it, which is something I really appreciate in your book is like you're understanding that like sometimes you can't just turn off your life. You can't just like say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore." And like there's also people in your life who like have expectations of things, then like I think it goes back to like being vulnerable and sharing those things and having those conversations, but like first having those conversations with yourself. And like one thing I've been doing this year especially is like figuring out what my whys are and like what my wants are. It's like what do I like, why do I want to do this? What's my big want and stuff like that. And so like I've discovered for me, my why, I wanna be able to just, like, like, see my I have a lot of friends who live in different places of, like, in the world, so I wanna be able to visit them, and I wanna be able to, like, make memories and like, spend time with them, and so, like, that's my overarching, like, why. It's like, oh, I wanna, like that's, like, why I'm trying to save for, and also, like, create, like, a life for myself that feels secure, feels safe, feels stable, so that I don't have to be, like, worried about, like, the the things of, like, life, like, the lack of money or the lack of, like, what housing could be, so yeah, figuring out that why has been really transformative for me. So, yeah, I know you've had your own whys and like how have your whys changed as you reach each financial goal? And like how do you like have that conversation with yourself as the goals change?
Yeah, and they change with financial goals, they change with age as well. Um, and it's not that I'm old, but I am getting older and I'm a lot more mindful of kind of age and health and what I want my life to look like. And I really am a firm believer in the fact that you need to kind of build some of those habits now well before you actually need some of
Yes.
those habits. So I'm just like really aware of that right now. So a lot of times, honestly, my why now, I'm about to be 40 this September. Um,
We're gonna see.
right? My why is honestly who and how I wanna be able to take care of myself when I'm, like, 60. Like,
Oh,
I am really thinking about who is this woman and what does she have access to and what can she do because of the things that I'm doing for myself now. And I'm gonna be honest, I think especially because I'm a mom, a lot of people are like, "Your why is not your children." I'm like, it is and it isn't. Like, I want to be a rich granny so that I can
yeah.
fly them wherever I'm at. Now, is that about them or is that about me? I'm not quite sure.
Like
And I'm okay with that. Like, right. It's a little bit of both. So right now, my why really is about peace and continuing to have that peace and giving myself more peace later on as I'm aging. And of course, I want to take care of my family. I want them to be stable, but I feel peace when I'm able to take care of my family. I feel stable when I'm able to take care of myself and them. And I don't want it to just be I'm taking care of them and then I'm going without. I want both. Like, honestly, I want both. And I want abundance in both. And I know that while we can manifest abundance, I'm here for it. I also know that we have to be working for it. And I don't mind working very hard for it right now to guarantee that it will be there. And numbers will give that to you, right? Like you can run literal projections and numbers and find out, hey, if I do this now, I could be here then. So that's really my why. And when I started when I was younger, it was just really my why was like, hey, I want to be able to afford to buy the things that I want without stressing about it. And that's still the case now because there's still things that I want that I'm stressing about. Right now I'm saving for a trip to France, but I have to
Ooh,
save for it, right?
I
But I
love
have to
that.
save for it. Thank you. And I'm going to feel so proud of myself for saving for it. Like and plan on paying for it in cash. I do not plan on going into any credit card debt for it. I'm not interested. Like, don't want it. So I have to save for it. So that's kind of like how I'm feeling and the whys are going to change and allow them to change. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to change your mind and that's okay. Don't feel like you need to do it right away. Like if it's a split change, give it a beat, make sure that that's something that you really want, but also don't feel like you have to stay stuck in whatever choices that you made in the past. Like you can change and that's okay too.
Oh, I love that. No, I'm gonna take your why. Um, no, just the idea of like thinking about your future self and like how you want her to be and like I think it's beautiful because especially for Black women you're taught to like take care of everyone else and like at the Love Foundation we are really actively working to be like it's okay to take care of yourself first, like it's okay to like really look out for yourself first. Our CEO Charlene's always saying put your oxygen mask on first, like be the one to like look out because like this world just takes, 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 takes. It's okay to give yourself something first and then like take care of other people. Cause like, I feel like when Black women are taken care of, everyone else will be good too. You know, it's just like,
Yes.
it's a domino effect of things. But no, I am just so grateful to have you on today. This was like a personal session for me and something that I am actively navigating through. And I know we do a survey at the end of every year, and like financial stress was the number one thing for people that they're navigating and like how they want like tools and resources to help that. So I'm just happy that we were able to bring them to you if they're listening to this conversation, because you are like, this book is so like, it just feels like a friend is like helping you through like financial, like the questions you have, the worries you have, and it's like giving you an actionable plan on how to like just face it. And like, I'm just personally so grateful for you because like you've allowed me to like take a step and like look into myself and how I deal with finances. And like, that's something I am like actively working on. It's like how I show up for myself is how I show up for myself financially, how I show up for myself in like physical, how I show up for myself like spiritually, like it's all part of those buckets. So no, thank you so much. Last thing, what is like one thing you want them to know in relationship with money and like their believing? Like what's one takeaway you want to give them? And also where to find you.
Um, well, first, I have to say thank you so much for that compliment. Like, I found myself feeling a little misty and teary. I'm like, God, this is all I wanted my book to be able to do. So I'm like working through those emotions right now.
You
Like,
can do that too. Yeah. Thank
truly,
you.
I just like, wow. I'm like, wait, she gets it. Like, that was it. Like, that was the purpose of the book. So it just makes me very emotional to hear that, like, my words had such an impact, and hopefully will help you just change your own financial trajectory. Because literally all I want is for all of us to have more money. And when I say all of us, I mean Black women specifically, to have more money and what we can do with that. Because you're right, when we are good, the ripple effects, it impacts everyone around us. And that just doesn't feel truer than it does today to me, and it continues to reverberate in my mind. So with that being said, my last takeaway is, listen, if you are financially stressed, if you are like, I have no idea what's going on with my money, I don't know what to do, I cannot do this. I need you to know that you can do it, but it is not going to happen tomorrow. You didn't get to this financial place in one day. You will not get out of it in one day. And it is going to require sacrifice, time, energy, probably a whole lot of tears, but you can get there. I promise you, you can get there, but it may be a little radical, and you might feel very, honestly, effed up in the process of getting it done. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, you really may struggle in it, but I don't want any of us to feel like we are stuck in this place forever. But you do need to make the time to take a plan, make the time to create a plan, and then feel like you can execute that. And a lot of times it just is going to take you more time and energy, and that's okay, right? Like, you turning around, you saving $5 is better than zero. It just is. And sometimes that's what you need, those little tiny snowflake savings and those like money towards debt, like whatever you can do to just take those baby steps. So long story short, give yourself the time. Please know that you are not alone. Other people are out here helping people to do this if you need it, but please do not just keep it to yourself and suffer in silence. Like, ask for the resources, ask where people are getting the information so that they can move forward and get into a better financial place.
Thank you, Asia. Please let them know how they can support you and how they can find you. Find
Yes.
yourself.
Yes. So you can follow me on IG at Asia E Therapy. So AJAE Therapy. My website at asiaevanscounseling.com. I have my newsletter there. You can sign up. I might have some things I might be releasing at the end of the year. Percolating. We're going to see. Yeah, and then we'll just go from there. But I'm always available. Slide in my DMs, email me, and you can find my book, Feel Good Finance, wherever you get your books.
Thank you, and happy early birthday, Asia.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you all for joining us for a very special episode of The Unfolding, presented by the Loveland Foundation. At the Loveland Foundation, we are committed to showing up for communities of color in unique and powerful ways, with a particular focus on Black women and girls. Our resources and initiatives are collaborative, and they prioritize opportunity, access, validation, and healing. Since our founding, the Therapy Fund has provided financial support for therapy to over 13,000 Black women, girls, and non-binary individuals across the country. This year, our goal is to provide free therapy to at least 6,000 more. If you'd like to join us and invest in generational change, visit our website at thelovelandfoundation.org for ways to give. To stay updated on new episodes and any future programming, follow us on Instagram and Meta, or check out our website at thelovelandfoundation.org.